All right, folks, welcome. And let me just screen share. And I hope everybody can hear me and see me. Let me know in the chat. In fact, let me know where are you all joining in from. So let me know if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're a teacher. We'll have our support team in the chat for any problems. If you have any issues throughout this entire program, the customer support number and email is going to be there in the chat. Folks, welcome to this orientation session by the Times of India. This is a place where you and I will come together. We'll have more industry experts join this session and basically address some really, really important problems and issues and queries that parents are having these days in the age of AI. Right? So, if I had to describe the problem is that most parents are confused about what kind of skills should their child learn. Even if they know that AI is really valuable, they do not know what kind of AI tools should their child use, which are safe, secure, useful, not depreciating their child's brain. And then once they have some of these applications, what are some use cases? What is the right way of a child to use AI? And I think the biggest part here is what would be a good step by step roadmap to make sure that your kids are not misusing AI. They're not offloading their intelligence to a bunch of these applications. So I'm going to open up my deck right now, and please keep in mind that the recording of this orientation session is not going to be shared to you. And there's a very important disclaimer here that whatever AI tools that you use, you are responsible for the entire content that they generate. Please keep in mind there is no certification for attending this session because it's an orientation where you and I can have a brief discussion, right? It's about understanding how our children, our colleagues in general, the next generation can maintain their intelligence as AI becomes better. And most people talk about what AI can do. Today, we'll be discussing what AI cannot do and how AI is harming the intelligence of so many people. Misunderstanding and not being clear about how AI works is harming so many students, so many parents, and it's super, super important for you to understand how the picture is going to unfold. You can always use an AI tool to help you identify what is something or how it works, but it's extremely difficult for an AI to explain you why is something the way it is. AI can help you solve a math problem, but solving a math problem was never the big achievement. The real achievement was the process of solving the problem, understanding why are we using the solution for a problem. Do stay till the very end because in the beginning I will be showcasing you some interesting stuff that's been made by other school students with AI tools. But at the very end, you will have a step by step roadmap to make sure that your child stays in the top 1%, especially when AI becomes so good. So, folks, my name is Ansh Mehra, and let me know in the chat how many of you are parents, how many of you are children, what city are you joining in from. I can see that a bunch of new people are joining in right now. So I will be the instructor for this session. I will be joined with other instructors as well as we go ahead with different modules. In the past 3 years, we have hosted AI bootcamps for schools and colleges and global enterprises across the world. We've touched customers across 55 countries. I'm officially an instructor at the OpenAI Academy. In fact, we've been very fortunate enough to be featured on some of the biggest YouTube channels in our country, where we've spoken about the effects of AI on the human brain and how you should use AI properly. In fact, I was representing India at the Global Prompt Engineering Championship at the Emirates Stars in Dubai as well. And to all the parents watching this, I know that you might have seen a bunch of AI news and articles and AI slop videos all over, right? Everybody knows AI is going to change the world, but very few people know what to do next. There's no clarity because every day you wake up, there's a new update. Every day you wake up, there's something new. So, how do you find the right direction? How do you shortlist the most important skills that are 110% going to be relevant even 5 years from now. Because if you keep chasing on trends, it's a never ending race. There are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. So the changes are happening so quickly that none of us can catch up. By the way, throughout this entire session, even after the session, if you have any queries, if you want to reach out to us for any doubts, please feel free to take a screenshot. In fact, I'll ask my team to share this information in the chat so that you can, reach out to us at any point. Before we move ahead, I have to set the right expectation for today's session. This orientation is not going to make you some AI expert. This is mostly a session where I tell you where the world is heading. Because there are two categories of parents that I meet, right? One feel that AI is not good enough, so I should probably not let my child use AI. And the other feels that, oh, if AI is doing everything, why am I wasting so much of money on, fancy degrees and, coding and programming? And why is my child wasting his or her time? In most cases, both students and parents are asking the wrong question. In fact, let me know in the chat, what is that one burning question? If you had to pick like one burning question that you have to put in the chat, what would it be? So I think one burning question is AI safe for kids? Okay. What are the next career opportunities? Okay. Are kids going to lose creativity? Okay. Do keep putting your questions in the chat. Okay, so one can be, okay, at what age should a child use AI? And for what? Okay, so for what use cases? Okay, so I think majorly, like these are the most repeating questions, right? Is AI safe for kids? What are the next career opportunities? Will kids lose creativity? If not, how do we protect the creativity of our children? At what age should a child use AI? And what are the different AI tools that a child should use as he or she grows up? And what are some use cases, right? Where exactly does this fit in? So, and you can keep on posting your questions because these are interesting questions. And to give you a very simple answer, AI is like an amplifier. Fast learners will only grow faster, and lazy learners will only get lazier with time. And I think because most of you are parents here, and if you're not a parent, I don't think this session is very relevant for you. If you're in college, this session again is not very relevant for you. This is primarily for parents and school students from class 5 to class 12th. If AI is not smart, if AI in general is helpful in only certain contexts, then why should a student learn AI? I'll tell you the biggest problems right now. Most students right now are learning skills that are no longer valuable. How many of you agree to this point? How many of you feel that your child is going from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. every single day? When your child comes back from school, and if you ask the child, what did you learn? Do you feel confident that my child learned something incredibly useful? And I'm talking to parents who are especially in class 11th and class 12th. How many of you are applying for engineering colleges or like design colleges or marketing colleges or doing something creative, right? When you go to school, are you really, really confident that everything that you're learning is going to be extremely useful? And I totally understand the point, right? A school is not just about information. A school teaches you how to talk to people, how to manage your time, how to manage stress. But the point is that if you want your child to become successful, the child needs to have certain skills that are relevant in the real world. And because of internet, your child is not only competing with children in India, but he or she is competing with global competition as well, right? So how do we expect our children to learn when schools are not able to catch up, when universities are not able to catch up? And it's not their fault, right? So how should a student prepare? Because right now, most students are learning skills that are no longer relevant. The second is that whether it's colleges, whether it's any business, any company in general, they're investing in students who know how to think and build with AI. You see any competition, any scholarship, anything in general which is like high value, gives you a lot of benefit, you can have 100x advantage if you know how to use AI to get to those results. Till now, and you can let me know in the chat if you agree with this, if you asked a question to any kid and if the kid just gave you a really fancy answer, people used to get very impressed, right? But now it's no longer impressive to have knowledge. It's no longer impressive to be able to memorize things, right? And do you really feel like memorizing things was like the best thing ever? Do you really feel like the current way of examination, the way we give grades to kids, do you really think that's the accurate way of judging a kid's intelligence? I don't think so. I've been through the entire cycle. So I'll tell you, there has been multiple instances where I have seen school kids go way beyond what was expected from them and use AI for things that are absolutely magical. And I'm pretty sure most of you parents don't even know. So we run a cohort where kids come and learn AI from us, and this entire deck is basically some important lessons that we have learned from teaching students across these many cohorts. So I'm going to give you some real life examples. None of this is fictional. I had a student, his name was Archit Mishra. He was in grade 6 and he was a big fan of music, right? He loved poetry. He was a very creative kid, and he ended up making this soundtrack. I'm going to play this song in front of you, and let me just make sure that the audio is getting shared. So I'm going to share my audio. I'm going to play this music. This is a 3-minute long music. A grade 6 student, Archit, has made this music from his imagination and AI. And listen to the lyrics, by the way.
धीरे धीरे चलूं मैं पर सपने दौड़ते हैं तेज छठी में हूँ पर मन सवालों से भरा निडर विशेष किताबें स्क्रीन ये दुनिया हर पल कुछ सिखा जाए छोटी सी कॉपी में भी एक ब्रह्मांड समा जाए
He was in grade 6. I'll show you something very cool. He was able to make this website. A grade 8 student, right? He's the one. And he's from Guwahati, Assam. He's made a website where he has written down how he's been using AI for his learning. This is a grade 8 student that we're talking about. And he's uploaded his work with AI. These are some posters that he's made with AI. He's made some videos also, and I'm going to show you some videos he made. You'll absolutely go bonkers. He's a big fan of Iron Man, so he was able to use AI to make these. He was able to like make these interesting videos. Okay, this one is even more fun.
I am a disco dancer. I am.
How many of you, especially the kids, right? Like, how many of you would love to make something like this? Because when I was in grade 8, I would have lost my mind, right? Like, I am 28 years old. This is still very cool to me. And it's insane, right? Like, the fact that a class 8th kid from Guwahati, Assam, was able to make this. Right? His life is no longer the same because now something has switched in his brain. He no longer thinks that making a website or an app is impossible. Like, as a parent, you know what I'm talking about, right? The fact that a grade 8 kid truly believes that whatever he thinks he can build it, that level of confidence is insane. There is a comic book, this entire comic book that you're saying, made by a grade 6 student. This entire school poster created by Pushkar from grade 7. The same kid, Pushkar, loved Angry Birds. It's a game, it's a very popular game, and he was able to make this game as a grade 7 student without any coding. How many of you are kind of annoyed at your kids for playing too many games? Let me know in the chat. And I'm pretty sure if you check out your kids' screen time, you would see 2 to 3 hours, just spent on playing games. And I'll tell you the major shift that is happening, right? The world is going to have two categories of people. One are going to be consumers, like aggressive consumers, because everything is getting better, everything is getting more tempting. And then you have a bunch of people that are producers. But being a producer is all about your mindset. You need to be creative, you need to be aware of the right tools, and you need to know how to use those tools. Right? In fact, there's like countless other projects by school students so that you get inspired. And my team is going to share a link in the chat. You'll be able to see a lot many projects. Now, in general, I'm not going to give you more FOMO, right? But the point here is that making and creating interesting things has become so easy with AI. Right? There are kids who are building games instead of playing them. And there's a brilliant article that I would recommend all parents to read. And we'll share this in the chat as well. It's an absolutely brilliant article. When I read it for the very first time, I was completely blown away. And I'm not going to spoil it, right? So I'm just going to let this stay. But basically, the author of the article, Dr. Mohan, he quotes, a very popular philosopher whose name is Archimedes. And Archimedes used to say that if you give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, I will move the world. And everybody these days are super obsessed with the lever, right? Which is your AI. If you have an AI tool, people think life is sorted. If they feel like if their child has an AI tool, life is sorted. But that doesn't work. Because another part of the equation is the place to stand, the fulcrum of the lever. Now, the problem is that everybody around us is obsessed with using the best AI tool and writing the best prompt. But the real power, the real leverage is going to come from your fulcrum. Fulcrum is basically the joint. So if I move my elbow, this is the fulcrum. This is also one of the most important points. A lever without a fulcrum is just a stick. So most people feel like AI is just going to automate education, automate everything, automate work. It doesn't work like that. And if your child skips the struggle of working hard, if your child skips the thinking process of solving a problem, it's going to be a huge crisis. You cannot catch a mistake in your work or in any other person's work until unless you've gone through the struggle, until unless you know all of the moving parts. So now the question is that how do you improve your own intelligence? How do you make sure that your state of mind is enhanced? How do you make sure that your child is thinking in the right way? And that is what we're going to touch upon today. So I'm just going to show you some interesting videos. And the video that you're about to see right now is completely AI generated. Completely. And apologies for the pixelation, folks. It is very pixelated simply because of like YouTube's algorithm. In fact, let me check if I can show this to you in a higher resolution so that, okay, no. So I think because our team has embedded these, it's super, super low resolution, but I'm just going to forward it and show it to you on how it works.
此物非人人可得，先正其心，再诚其意。
So I'm pretty sure most of you can't even believe the fact that this is completely AI generated, but yes, it is. AI can now help you make movies like never before. In fact, using Claude, how many of you know about Claude? Claude is currently one of the most popular AI tools out there. And this entire application that you see in front of you has been created with AI. So if there's a child who's trying to learn about human anatomy, this entire interactive application is made with AI, right? And it's so interesting to see that kids can now create their own AI study planning apps. They can convert their PDFs into quizzes. You can take a single piece of article and use AI to make pitch decks and websites and presentations. How many of you love sketching? How many of you love making diagrams? How many of you struggle with making diagrams? All the pictures that you see in front of you are completely AI generated. How many of you don't want to be dependent on your tutors, on your teachers? How many of you feel weak in math, feel weak in physics numericals, chemistry numericals? Because the screenshot that you see in front of you, the left picture, the solve for X thing, that is completely AI generated. The entire answer is completely AI generated. In fact, the right side part, the entire thing is completely AI generated. And how many of you are seeing this for the first time? The fact that AI can write solutions in your own handwriting. So I feel like a lot of people do not know how insane AI has become. And at this point, very, very few kids are able to utilize these things for their creativity. In fact, we have taught kids how to use an AI tool completely for free and build games where you can track things with your hand. It's actually very much possible these days. The clips that you see are completely AI generated. For all of my Iron Man fans and Avengers fans, how many of you would love to make these videos? At this point, if you make a simple sketch, you can upload a sketch and AI will convert that sketch into a video. So I'm going to show you a video completely AI generated from a sketch.
What are you doing out here, honey?
Gardening, Mom.
Gardening? Well, just looking at it isn't going to make it grow.
It's the way Daddy does it.
This was the script. What are you doing out there? Gardening, Mom, gardening. It's the way Daddy does it. The sketch was converted into a video. Can you imagine? In fact, till a point, we were using AI that was created by humans, but now we've entered an era where AI only is making AI. So you can obviously imagine how fast the world is changing, right? It's going to be super, super exciting if you are learning things on time. And I would not recommend parents to worry too much about the layoff situation, even though it is a very popular query. My recommendation is that if your child is in school, you should focus on improving your child's thinking skills, writing skills, reading skills, communication skills, because they will essentially just have their careers bulletproof if they focus on these things. Because AI in general is moving super fast, right? And what you're seeing right now is the latest worst of AI. Like a cow in 2014 generated by AI used to look like this. And from 2014 to 2026, this is how an AI generated cow looks like. In fact, how many of you have still not video called AI? Let me know in the chat, how many of you have still not video called AI? I can see that no, never. I think a lot of you have never video called AI. I'm going to screen share my phone and I'm going to show you Gemini by Google, which is completely free. And if you notice, and I hope everybody can see my screen, right? Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. Awesome. I'm going to open up my phone right here. and I'm going to click on the bottom left corner, the video calling icon.
You're talking about the button that usually starts or joins a video call, right? Are you wanting to know how it works or what to do next?
No, Gemini, I am just doing a session with some parents in collaboration with Times of India. So can you greet all parents, because they all want to know how AI can help their kids?
Oh, my mistake. Welcome everyone. It's great to be here with you all, and thanks to the Times of India for having us. I hear you're interested in how AI can help kids. There are so many possibilities, from personalized learning tools that adapt to their pace, to creativity apps that spark their imagination. Where should we begin?
Can you also greet all parents in Hindi?
नमस्ते पेरेंट्स, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया और मेरी तरफ से आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज हम एआई के बारे में बात करेंगे कि कैसे ये आपके बच्चों की मदद कर सकता है। क्या आप रेडी हैं शुरू करने के लिए?
Can you greet everyone in Tamil?
वणक्कम पेरेंट्स, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया और जेमिनी एआई के तरफ से आपको वेलकम करता हूं। योर चिल्ड्रंस फ्यूचर एंड लर्निंग आर इंपॉर्टेंट टू अस, एंड वी आर हैप्पी टू डिस्कस हाउ एआई कैन प्ले अ रोल. Shall we explore that together?
I can see the chat going crazy, and type wow in the chat if this is the first time you're seeing AI video call you. And see, the important thing to understand is that right now there's two categories of AI users, right? One say that you should use AI, the other says you should not use AI. And the solution is in the middle. The solution has always been the right balance, right? The real damage is not that your child is using AI to write an essay, right? The real damage is when you're not letting your child go through the struggle of thinking and articulating their own thoughts. So how do you do that? How do you maintain a good routine? So I'll tell you the agenda for today, right? So in module 1, I will take you through the foundations of artificial intelligence and prompting in general. I'm going to teach you a very valuable framework called the human in loop framework. How many of you are hearing this term for the first time? Human in loop, because your child needs to know how to be eligible for human in loop. It's as valuable as a fancy degree at this point. In module 2, we'll have another instructor come and teach you how to use AI for exam preparation, learning something, understanding something. In module 3, we'll show you how to use AI for infographics and diagrams and videos. Then in module 4, AI for soft skills and career counseling. And then AI for building apps and games. And then we'll have a doubt session, so you can put in your questions. Now in each of these sessions, I'm not gonna deep dive into each and every AI tool. We have a website where we have revealed all of the AI tools. We have revealed all the use cases. Everything is out there. My team is going to share a link in the chat so that you can get that. And if you're confused about any of the AI tools, all that information is there, right? So you just have to make sure that you go to the link in chat and all the tools are going to be there. Because I see a lot of people asking in the chat, which tool is this? Which tool is this? All of that information is there on the website. So let's start with module number 1, Foundations of AI and Prompting. Now, before we understand what is AI, I always ask everybody in the audience to first define intelligence. So I'm going to stop my screen share. And now you have to answer this with me. Okay, so I'm going to come to my iPad. Can you tell me what exactly is intelligence? In fact, let me make this a bit more interesting, right? Can you tell me what is so unique about human intelligence? What is so unique about human intelligence? Okay, so some people are saying knowledge, facts, emotion. I mean, emotion is there in animals also, right? What made us so smart? And this is a super important question, by the way, right? Like, it's such a simple thing, right? Intelligence. Somebody is saying facts. Somebody is saying EQ. Somebody is saying learning. Judgment. experience, okay? How is everybody having a different definition of such a simple word? And you know why I asked this question? See, first of all, this is a trick question. So even scientists are still figuring out, what made us so special. But if we want to have like a simple definition, just a very, very simple definition, and you tell me in the chat if you agree with this, I can say that if there is a person who lives her life, makes mistakes, learns from her mistakes, and then decides what to do today and tomorrow, we will call that person intelligent? Does everybody here agree in the chat? You can type agree in the chat. Let's refine this definition even a level ahead. If there is a person who lives her life, makes mistakes, but also learns from the mistakes of other people, we will call that person even more intelligent, because you're not only making your own mistakes and learning, but you're also learning from the mistakes of other people, right? Which is even more impressive. But did you notice something very, very interesting happened in the chat? Most of you had a different definition of the word intelligence. It's such a simple word. Then how is everybody not able to come on the same page for such a simple word? There's a reason why I've asked you this question, by the way, because this was a live demo. Can anybody guess why did I ask this question? Because if all of you have your own personal definition of the word intelligence, there's a very high chance that all of you will have a personal definition of thousands of other words. Now, for all the students watching this, students, the way you use your words is called your vocabulary. If you have a thought, and if you want to describe that thought in words, you need to have a good vocabulary. Now, for a very long time, the way you speak, the way you describe your thoughts, the way you articulate, your vocabulary used to influence the way you communicate with peers, your friends, and your teachers, and your family members. But moving forward, the same vocabulary, the same articulation, the same clarity of thought will influence the way you communicate with AI tools. But how many of us talk about vocabulary? How many of these schools teach articulation? As a parent, what have you done in the past 1 year to help your child become better at vocabulary? A lot of people think that their child, or even parents think like they can just prompt an AI tool and get solutions to all of their problems. It does not work that way. When you live life, when you experience life with all of your senses, you start finding patterns, you build better experience that helps you build a better vocabulary, which helps you write better prompts, and that gives you better results. So I want all the parents to either take a screenshot of this or bring a piece of paper with them, have a pen and a paper with them so that they can now take notes, because now things are going to get really, really valuable. And if you share your insights on social media, don't forget to tag me. I would love to post and repost your stories. My Instagram ID is anshmehra.in. If you post something, we have more than 200,000 followers on Instagram. If you share something interesting, I would love to repost it. So how does AI work? If I had to simplify it to a very, very basic level, imagine that there was a team of human beings and they fed a lot of data to a computer, and that computer only knew some skills. It could read, it could watch, it could remember, and then it could find patterns from what it has seen. So humans would feed data to the computer would store that data, and then if a new human came and said, okay, give me this, draw a picture of a cat, it would try to remember all of the cats it has seen so far and recreate a new ad. But Ansh, how exactly are these machines understanding and talking like us? Like you had shown that video calling demo, how is this working? The answer is hidden in the rise of LLMs. Now, the full form of LLMs is very complicated. It's large language models, but the reason, the logic is fairly simple. Before I reveal you the full form, an LLM is a type of an AI system that has been trained to understand and generate human-like language. It has the word large in it because it has been trained on massive amounts of data. This data has been given by the AI tech companies. The word language has been added because it can understand and generate text in natural human language, very similar to how you saw me, speak to an AI. I was speaking to Gemini in my own human language. And the word model has been added because it's a fancy word for a system. And the way LLMs work is that when they write something, they predict in words. So they think in words. My dog's name is Bruno. How is it guessing Bruno? Because it is analyzing from all of the sentences it has read before. And it is predicting that if somebody says my dog's name is, there's a high chance that his name is Bruno. A big misconception that people have is that they think that ChatGPT is the name of the AI. Whereas in reality, ChatGPT is just the name of the website. So when you go to ChatGPT, if I go here to ChatGPT right now, you can see a drop down right here and you will see this option instant and thinking. These are your different LLMs. These are the different AIs. So GPT-5, GPT 4.5, all of these new GPTs that they have added. This is the actual AI. ChatGPT is just the name of the website. In fact, they now have these amazing new options where you can upload files, you can create images, you can do deep research, you can add more sources, you can make projects. It's a bunch of interesting stuff. So when you open ChatGPT, it's just the name of the website. GPT 5.4 is the actual LLM model we use. So the UI keeps on changing. At this point, they don't reveal the numbers up front. They have given it simpler names. Similarly with Google, right? If I open Gemini, by the way, Gemini is one of the most popular free AI tools that students use. So when you go to Gemini, you can check and you'll find fast and thinking and pro. So these are different LLMs. And if you go to tools, you have create music, create video, guided learning, personal intelligence, so much stuff. I'm on the paid plan right now, so your free version might look different, but as we go ahead in the session, I'll try to cover most of the things that we can. So Gemini is the name of the app, but through Gemini, you can access 3.1 Pro and all of their different models. So let's do an interesting demo. Okay, I'm going to go to ChatGPT right now. And if you click on this voice icon, you can talk to ChatGPT as well. So I'm going to do that right now. So just a second. And I hope that everybody can hear me properly. So I'm just going to select the voice mode. Hi, ChatGPT.
Hey there, I'm right here. What's on your mind today?
ChatGPT, I have an exam, my class 9th exam on microorganisms. Can you quickly take a Viva for me?
Of course, let's do a quick warm-up. First question, can you name one beneficial role that microorganisms play in our environment?
I am sorry, I don't remember this. And can you explain the answer to me in simple Hindi?
हाँ, बिल्कुल। एक आसान उदाहरण है कि कुछ सूक्ष्म जीव मिट्टी में रहते हैं और मरे
Wait,
हुए
one
पौधों
second.
या
What is
जानवरों
this
को तोड़कर
Sukshmajeev Mitti? I don't understand. Can you use English so that you have like simple English words in the middle?
हाँ, समझो कुछ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स सॉइल में रहते हैं और जो डेड प्लांट्स या एनिमल्स होते हैं उन्हें ब्रेक डाउन करके न्यूट्रिएंट्स बना देते हैं। इससे सॉइल हेल्दी रहती है और प्लांट्स ग्रो कर पाते हैं।
Can you explain this entire concept to me in the form of a diagram?
I can't draw a diagram right here in voice, but I can describe it simply. Imagine you have soil, and inside it are
Wait,
tiny
can you give me a simple prompt and I can just copy paste that prompt and ask AI to make it for me?
Sure, you could ask something like, Create a diagram showing microorganisms in soil, breaking down dead plants into nutrients, with arrows showing the process from dead material to nutrients for plants.
So now, if AI is trying to explain me something, I can just paste this here and click on submit. And by the way, if you go on plus and select create image, you will see some new options right here. So they have this new option called thinking, right, where you can enable that. So I'm just going to delete this part and let the thinking mode stay and just click on submit. So if you have a child in your house and that child is trying to prepare for an exam and the child needs a personal tutor, personal attention, simplifying concepts, that child can use these AI tools to learn something interesting. In fact, you can copy the same thing and do the same in Gemini as well. If I go here in Gemini, you can just use the microphone option and speak. They don't have the same video call, the audio calling thing here, but if I just go here, select tools and select create image and click on submit, I'll show you the difference between the kind of images that ChatGPT makes versus the images that Gemini will make, and you'll be absolutely amazed. How many of you think that this is going to be super useful? Because the problem is that most students use AI in the wrong way. Most students would go to ChatGPT and say, oh, write me an essay on photosynthesis, just to skip their homework, just to skip their hard work. That is the most terrible thing you can ever do for your intelligence. Such bad prompts, such weak instructions will always give you very, very basic results. And you know, students are blindly trusting AI results and they're skipping their thinking. So Ansh, what is the right way to use AI? If I am a parent, how do I make sure that my child is thinking and reading and analyzing in the right way? The biggest of the tech companies in the world recommend a human in loop workflow. Human in loop workflow. This is how it looks like. I hope you have a pen and paper in front of you. If you do not, go run and bring it. Right, and let's see if our AI has created. By the way, the AI has already created a picture explaining the process of soil microorganisms breaking down dead plants into nutrients. Can you imagine? Can you absolutely imagine? In fact, you can make videos as well, right? And if we get time in the end, I'll show you that. But if you click on sources, you'll be able to see what all applications have been used to give this answer. But I'm going to come back to ChatGPT. This is what ChatGPT has created, and I kind of like what ChatGPT has made because it has made like this step-by-step thing. And of course, you can generate the image in multiple ratios and you can download this and you can print this out. It's absolutely insane. But coming back to how kids need to use AI, before a parent, a kid, any human being in general uses an AI tool, they first have to think about the problem. Now, what is thinking in general? When you want your child to solve a problem, can you tell me in the chat, what does thinking even look like? Let's have your responses in the chat. I want you to tell me in the chat that when you want your child to become a good problem solver, right? Like your child's brain is that line, okay? Your child's brain, something which is the most valuable thing for your child's success, right? Step number one is you have to think about the problem. So what would you expect your child to do when your child is given a problem to solve? Do you want your child to just ask AI? Not at all, right? The first part is thinking. Now, thinking means recognizing what is the problem, correct? Defining what is the problem in words, which very few students practice. And then also prioritizing which problems to solve first. And now I'm going to talk to all the students in the chat. Students, when I was in school, I used to get this very valuable advice from my tutor saying that when you see a question paper, you have to first attempt the questions you know and attempt the difficult questions in the end. How many of you have heard this advice? You always first attempt the questions that you know and then you attempt the questions you do not know at the very end, right? So that is you prioritizing. That is a fundamental part of problem solving. But most people don't care about this. And this is before you learn AI. The benefit of AI is that AI can help you become a better thinker. And I'll tell you how that happens. But first you have to think about the problem. Then you have to prompt the AI tool. And prompting is nothing but your ability to set the right context. You have to give the right context about who you are and what you want to achieve. And that is super difficult. And I'll give you a prompting framework. It's called the ACE framework. And I'll give you that framework right now. Framework is basically a set of rules that you need to follow, but it's super, super valuable. And once you give a prompt to AI, AI will give you a result. So you get the result. And by default, that result is never good enough. So what do you do? And how many of you have faced this? You give something to AI and AI has just disappointed you. It's the usual thing, right? And when you get the result, it is your job to build on top of that result. You have to check the result. You have to judge the result. So if AI gives you something, you have to build on top of this. And in the end, you have to deliver it to the final people. Are you understanding this entire point? And I have a simple flowchart to explain this. That human thinks, human prompts, AI gives a result, human builds on top of that result, and human delivers. How many of you agree with this? Let me know in the chat. If you feel like, yes, this is the right structured way of how humans need to use AI, because in many ways, in many use cases, you'll have to re-prompt the AI tool again and again and again and again till you get a good enough result. So students, AI is not a cheap replacement to your original thinking. It's almost like having a friend who's always a little sleepy, and you cannot rely on a friend who's half sleepy. I'll tell you a very interesting story. A few years ago, when fat and sugar and junk food became very popular and very accessible, in every corner you had a fast food joint, people started consuming a lot of junk food because, of course, it's the most convenient thing, it's the most fun thing to do. And they started reducing exercise. How many of you parents here are struggling with helping your kids do better at sports? How many of you struggle with telling your kids that, hey, stop being on the phone, stop being on the PlayStation and go out and play a sport? I'm pretty sure so many of you have felt that struggle. And in general, not exercising and not taking care of your physical health created this imbalance in many people. It's happening in teenagers now. Kids who didn't pay attention to their sports and fitness are now paying the price when they have turned 23 or 24. It doesn't hurt their bodies when they're in school. Those bad habits show up in college and after college. Now it's very easy to fix something in the physical body because you can take a medicine and you can exercise and you can build everything from ground zero. But the new crisis that lakhs of students will face is when they use AI without thinking. And when they do that, they will actually end up with intellectual obesity. Instead of them becoming better, your children will actually become slower and dumber because they would not understand the fundamentals of how to use AI. AI results should never be the final draft, the final submission. They should always be the first draft, the baseline. But most people think that whatever I get from AI is my conclusion. That is the finish line. And that is the biggest mistake. And that is the first core lesson that you need to remember. That AI is not a shortcut, even though it is a very tempting shortcut. And you will always get tempted. But that, as a parent, that is going to be your responsibility to feed the right mindset into your child about this new technology. Otherwise, your child has too much to lose. They will end up using AI in the worst ways possible. So lesson number 1 from this module is that you need to use AI for the first version of your work and never the last version. And it's very sad how most of us here are completely glued to our phones, hooked to social media, hooked to short form content, and the machines are learning. And I want you to share this meme with all of your family members, and to all the people who share memes on WhatsApp, let me know in the chat if this meme is relatable, if you see this happening in the real world, that how are the machines learning and how are the machines becoming better than us. See, we do not need to fear artificial intelligence. We need to fear natural stupidity. Right? Natural stupidity is going to be a way bigger crisis than artificial intelligence. And moving forward, whatever instructions I give to the AI, I'm going to use the word prompt. And let me share a 3-part framework. And I hope everybody is ready with their pen and paper. I want everybody to type ready in the chat if you're ready to note down this framework. This 3-part framework will help you get 10 times better results no matter what AI tool you use. It's a way to explain an AI what you want from it. In fact, in many cases, even the free tools are going to give you incredible results. And I can see that some students are saying, oh, what is a framework? A framework is a basic set of rules, right? It's like a checklist. It's a bunch of steps that helps you do something in an easy or organized way. So all the principles that I show you right now are not limited to just ChatGPT. So I'm just going to do a demo right now in front of you. And let's open ChatGPT. And what I will do is I'm going to come here to this mic icon. And let's say I want to figure out what are the most important questions I need to prepare for my board exams, physics board exams. Hi, I want you to analyze the most important topics that are repeating in board exams in the subject of physics, because I'm weak with physics. I want you to tell me what are the most important topics, what weightage do the CBSE board exams give to these things. And I in general struggle with numericals. So can you tell me what areas should I focus on? I just have 15 days left for my next mock board exam. So can you make a timetable for me and give me the result in a table format? I get almost 2 hours per day to study. So if you can give me something around that. I'm going to click on submit. And now I'm going to tell you why this prompt is going to work well. So there are 3 things I did here. And of course, let me know in the chat if you wished for something like this before. How many of you are seeing AI first time, become like your own study planner? If you notice, this AI was able to know exactly what I want because I used a 3-part framework to get the best results. And the name of that framework is called the ACE framework. Step number 1 is that I define the action. What is it that I want the AI tool to do? So I said, I want you to go back and analyze some repeating subjects, repeating topics. So that is me describing the action. Step number 2 is define the context. So I'm saying that I'm weak in physics numericals. I only have 10 days left. I need to prepare for it. And then describe the expectation. What is the expectation? I want you to give me a timetable. I want to become good at this. Please note this down. Anytime you use an AI tool, when you're prompting, promise me that you're going to use this framework. The ACE framework. Action, context, and expectation. How many of you are seeing this way of thinking for the first time? Type first in the chat. And these frameworks are not compulsory, right? But they're highly, highly recommended. But Ansh, what if we end up forgetting this framework? Right? You have told me this right now. You can actually take the help of AI to improve your prompting skills. So if you're using AI to do a brainstorming session, one big advice is to first ask AI what to ask. Now this is where I am increasing the usefulness. I am increasing the power that you can extract from an AI tool. So let's say I am on an AI tool. This AI tool is called Claude. And I mentioned I am in class 8 preparing for my end of term exam for science. I want to find out practical resources. Then you ask AI to create the prompt. Please give me a detailed prompt that I can run to get the desired result. And then use the result prompt to get the final output, because you do not know what you do not know. So notice what happened. I told AI something very basic, something very simple. AI used its own brain to help me write something even better. Now when I read this, I will not blindly just submit it, because remember what I taught you in the human in loop workflow. I will not just take this prompt and go ahead with it. I will read it. I will check it. I will build on top of it. Then I will go to the new chat, copy paste my version of what AI gave to me. And imagine if you start doing this for everything in your life. The way you learn, the way you read, the way you find information, everything is going to become 10 times better. So if you're doing research work, you can use AI to turn a very broad topic into a very clear research-based prompt with a lot of structure, with the right direction. If you're making a project report, if you're making a poster, ask AI to make the prompt so that you can write that prompt in a much better way, and then use AI's prompts to make the best images. Everybody around you is going to be like, hey, everybody has an AI tool, but how is this guy using AI better than anybody else? And of course you have presentations and coding and study plans and so much more. But the core lesson here is that there has to be a feedback loop. If you give something to AI, whatever AI gives back to you, you have to build on top of it. But Ansh, how exactly can we apply these techniques to our studies, right? Because I'm in school, right? So how exactly can I use AI level? And for that, we will now be welcoming another instructor. His name is Om Patnaik, and he will be showcasing you how to use AI for research, for learning, in general for upskilling. So I want everybody in the chat to welcome Om Sir. I want everybody in the chat to welcome Om Sir.
Hello students, how are you all doing? Let me know in the chat how is the energy right now. Because so far we have learned how to talk to AI and how does human in loop works. But now we are going to level up the game. Because now we will learn how you can use AI for guided learning and exam preparation, so that you can learn and practice in a very more structured way and revise better using AI. So before we move forward, let me tell you the story of Arav. So Arav has his exams next week. And there are some core problems that Arav is going to face while he is self-learning. And the problem number 1 will be getting stuck with complex but important topics. So students in general hit confusion points and don't know how to actually move forward. And there is literally no guidance unless a tutor or a parent is directly available to them. Now students in general struggle to solve problem and move forward without someone is actually there to correct them. And lastly, passive learning without application is the actual bottleneck. Students in general think that they have memorized everything, when in reality, without practice, just reading and watching does not deliver results. Let me know in the chat how many of you face this exact same problem. So I can see a lot of you face this same problem, right? But the question is, how can AI help Arav? So how can Arav use AI to solve his queries and prepare better? And that is exactly where guided learning will help us. So guided learning is a feature within Google Gemini that will act as a personal tutor. And the use case that we will cover is AI for guided learning. So let's assume that we have this chapter that is diversity in living organisms, and I will open Google Gemini and show you how we can learn this chapter better using the feature guided learning. So this is Google Gemini. So as soon as you open Google Gemini, you need to click on this tool button right here. So I will zoom in for you. I hope it is properly visible in the chat. Perfect. Awesome. So I will click on this tool buttons right here, and I will scroll down and we will find the guided learning button right here. I will click here, and then let us download this particular book. So students, make sure that any book, any chapter that you want to learn, you must have a soft copy of it, right? So I have now saved this. I will upload the document here. Now the question is, what should you prompt, right? And the beautiful part is that you need to give a very simple prompt. So I will simply copy paste this prompt, and we simply need to say that explain this chapter of diversity in living organisms to me. I am finding it difficult to understand the classification system and remember the names of different groups. You need to teach me using clear explanations, examples, and small memory tricks. And just within a few seconds, we have the output here. Now you will notice something here, right? That instead of giving us direct answer, just like usually AI does, it is asking you questions as to where do you want to start. Now let's assume that I want to start with the 5 kingdoms. And I will ask it to first explain me the 5 kingdoms. Now the beautiful part about guided learning is that it follows something known as Socratic style of teaching. Now what is Socratic style of teaching? In Socratic style of teaching, the teaching is adapted based on the student's learning capability, which means it is dynamic in nature. If you want to learn slow, the teaching will become slower. If you want to learn something that is detailed, the teaching will keep adapting based on your learning identity, right? And as you can see, we have the exact output here. So in guided learning, I will show you the output in general, and you can do this for like any given subject. Using guided learning is very, very simple. You just need to go to Google Gemini, just like I showed you, click on guided learning, and then upload your subject that you want to learn. Simply upload a PDF, write the prompt that explain me in so and so way, and then you will have the output. In guided learning, as you can see here, it has given me a memory trick. Now to remember all of these that are like exact jargons and difficult to understand like terms, guided learning has given me a quick acronym, right? King Philip came over for food for a good soup, right? Now just by remembering this, I can memorize this better, and you can do the same for any given subject. For example, I want to learn the history subject, French Revolution, right? I will simply upload the document, I will prompt it, and then it will give me something like this if I ask it to generate a timeline for French Revolution. Now so far we have learned the theoretical part of it. What if I want to learn something that is numerical, right? Do you guys think that like Gemini can solve the numerical part as well? Like let me know in the chat if we can do that. Like how many of you feel that Gemini will also help us with the numerical questions? So let's take this question right here. I will take a screenshot of this question. I will go back to Google Gemini. I will paste it here, and I will say, you need to explain me this question step by step, and then I will hit enter. And guided learning just takes a few seconds, and the beautiful part is that you can cross question till the point you truly understand this entire thing. You can just keep on asking questions. If still you're finding it more difficult, you can ask Gemini to make it even more simpler for you, right? And as you can see, this entire thing, it is again going step by step, right? And you can just go further and it will do this entire thing based on how you want it to be. So even in this output, it has been like completely explained in step-by-step format. And if you truly pay attention, you will notice that this response differs from the typical AI response. And that is because we are using the guided learning mode. So what is the exact difference between normal AI versus guided learning mode? And the first difference is that normal AI gives you just the answers for what you ask. Whereas in guided learning, it will act like an actual tutor and it will give you a step-by-step guide. In normal AI, you will it'll get similar responses to anyone at all. In guided learning, it changes the way of teaching based on your level of understanding, as we discussed in Socratic style of learning, right? So this is that exact thing. In normal AI, it does not check if you have understood or not. But in guided learning, it will ask you questions like, did you learn it better? Like, did you actually get the entire concept? So as we just saw in the numerical thing, it asked you, did you truly understand the first step before moving on to the next one? So that is how guided learning is a great tool. But there is a very important lesson that you need to know, that you should never rely on AI for the solutions. You need to use AI to assist you with your learning. So if you end up relying on AI for your solutions, for example, if you get any assignments and you're just using Google Gemini to get step-by-step thing and you're just copy pasting it, it will make you difficult to actually learn it later. So you need to use AI to learn better and not to use AI to cheat better. You should never do that. And the next use case is that we will use AI to create mock question papers. And I will show you a live demo of it. So for instance, we have multiple different books and we will take this particular chapter and we will also take a sample question paper using which AI will take a reference of it, and then we can simply take this Nazism and the Rise of Hitler and I will download it. And I will also download this reference assessment. Now what will happen on the back end is that it will take my entire learning material and it will also take the assignment and it'll give me more question papers so that I can practice better. Now again, we have the prompt right here. So you should never be confused in terms of what should be the prompt, what should be the exact way I type it. It is just about clear communication, right? What exactly do you want? And you can simply tell AI and it will exactly give you the output. So as I have said here, I have a unit test coming up next week for 30 marks. Can you create a sample question paper with 10 MCQs, 2 short answer questions and 1 long answer question from the above syllabus? And again, very beautifully, it has gone through my entire syllabus. It has taken reference from the assignment that we have, and then we have the final question paper ready. And in the sample assignment that I gave it, there were sections. Similarly, we have sections even in this. So now you don't have to go to 10 different websites. When I was a student, I had to go to 10 different websites to find sample assignments. I had to rely on my school to give me sample assignments so that I can practice better. But now everything is in your literal hands. So if you just if you have the true intent, then you can use AI to its maximum extent so that you can learn better, you can revise better, and you can test yourself way better. So this is the kind of output that you can get, right? And you can simply use guided learning so that you can learn anything at all at your own speed. Now a very beautiful part is that we can also use AI for mock viva. How many of you, let me know in the chat, how many of you have to give vivas in general? What is a viva? Viva is a 1-to-1 question answer thing where the teacher asks you questions and you need to give the answer verbally. So in like typically in normal question answer thing, you have time to think, you have time to like ideate, and then you can simply write a question, write an answer for it. In Viva, there is a direct pressure because you need to do it live. Be it any question, you need to simply answer live. So it requires a different type of practice for it, right? And to do that practice, you would ideally need someone else's help. You would typically need someone to ask you question, and then that person also needs to know the answer that you're giving. So in general, it becomes slightly difficult, it becomes slightly tricky to actually practice something like a Viva. Like, let me know in the chat how many of you have Vivas in general. So I can see a lot of you have Vivas. Awesome. So what we will now do is that we will take this material right here. So we have nationalism in India. Now let's assume that I want to prepare for my Viva on nationalism in India. I will go here, I will download this PDF. I will go to ChatGPT now, and then I will upload nationalism in India. So that I can prepare for my Viva better. Okay, I can simply take any other as well. So I will take this, India and the contemporary world. I think I'll just try and download it again, and we will name it better. Yeah, I think this is the same document, right? And now I will copy this prompt, and then I will simply paste it here. Now what will happen is, just like a real human being, ChatGPT will go through my entire document, right? It will have the entire knowledge of the document that I have uploaded, and I can simply click on this button right here. This is known as the voice mode. In voice mode, you can talk to AI just like how you talk to your friends. So like, I will just quickly show you how it actually works. Hello, so I need to prepare for my Viva on nationalism in India. So can we just start with a quick round?
First round, core ideas. Nationalism in India began to grow in the late 19th century, driven by the experience of colonial oppression. The Indian National Congress, formed in 1885, played a key role in articulating political demands. Who founded the Indian National Congress?
So the Indian National Congress was founded by Mahatma Gandhi.
Not quite. The Indian National Congress was founded by A.O. Hume along with other Indian leaders. It was established in 1885. Let's move to the next one.
Yes, let's move to the next one.
National movements begin. The partition of Bengal in 1905 sparked widespread protests leading to the Swadeshi movement, where Indians boycotted British goods and promoted local products. What was the main economic strategy of the Swadeshi movement?
So the main strategy was so that we create in India and we lead the entire movement ahead. So you need to also give me how can I like add more things to my entire answer to make it more rich, if at all this is going to be a 3-mark question.
Focus on 3 layers for a richer answer. First, mention the boycott of British goods, economic self-reliance. Second, add that it promoted indigenous industries, handloom, khadi. Third, note the mass mobilization,
Awesome. So just like I could practice this entire thing with a human being, an experienced human being, so maybe a tutor, maybe a teacher, you now have something that is available to you 24/7, right? So you can simply practice the entire Viva at your own pace. So now we move on to the next feature that is known as slides to video. First, let me know in the chat, how are you finding the session so far? Write great in the chat if everything that you're learning so far is going to directly help you whenever you're having your next exam. So I'm finding a lot of great, useful in the chat. Awesome. So now we have the next use case, that That is, we can redesign any given slides, like it is a feature of Google Slides, and turn them into videos. So let's assume that I have like the same deck that we are using right now, like module 2, that is AI for guided learning. And if I open it for you right here, now what if I wanted to learn this in a visual format? So we have this button right here, that is convert to video. I will click on this and I will click on convert. Then we have this pop-up that comes up, and then I will click on next. So what truly happens at the backend is, once you upload the entire deck, there is a proper teaching based script that has been generated, right? And it is very, very human in general, and you can choose exactly how do you want the exact teaching to be.
The voice you select makes a difference.
You want this kind of voice?
The voice you select
You can this kind of voice, or do you want
The voice you select
this kind of voice? So we will just go ahead with the current voiceover, and then I will click on create the draft video. So in general, students, there are different types of learning, right? There is visual learning, there is auditory learning, there is kinesthetic learning, there is learning with simulations. So when I used to learn, there is usually a point when you're learning for a long time, and then it just becomes difficult to go through your notes and read everything out, right? So I am personally a visual learner. So I used to go and find YouTube videos on everything that is there in my syllabus, but a lot of times there was no YouTube video available. And that is exactly where this comes into picture, because you can simply take your notes and like put it on Google Slides, and then you can have something like this. Let me play it for you.
Welcome to Module 2, AI for Guided Learning and Exam Prep, focusing on structured practice and revision with AI. This is Arav, and he has his midterm exams next week. Let's see some of the problems he is facing. First, Arav is getting stuck with solve problems and move forward without experienced correction. Without practice, just reading and watching is often insufficient. Now the question is, how can AI help Arav to solve from the AI tools to start the interactive tutoring session? Arav can also upload the relevant chapter materials for a more personalized study session. The AI is prompted to teach using simple explanations, examples, and
Isn't that great, students? Because if at all I had something like that, like I would have definitely used it a lot. Because personally, I love to learn using anything that is visual. I love to learn using lectures. So this would have in general helped me a lot. Let me know in the chat if you're going to use it. Awesome. Amazing. So a lot of you are going to use this feature in general. So it is part of Google Slides. So now let me show you what our students have made from our previous cohorts. So we have had previous batches where we taught them like exactly this and something even more deeper, and they were able to create something like this, right? They created their own question papers, and then they marked themselves so that they can learn better, they can revise better, and they ended up performing better in their examinations. And a few students made it even more interactive. They used like visuals like this so that it becomes even more fun. Now a few students went like all the way ahead. They generated it using AI, and then they wrote the entire thing using their hand. And then a few students got it printed out, and then like they like completely actually performed it like an actual examination. They got it printed, and then they like proper timed themselves, and then they appeared for the actual examination, right? Now usually assignments in general or anything at all, they get sometimes boring, right? Now what if we can convert boring chapters into engaging PPTs? And let me tell you, students, like this is my personal favorite, because every time I have
A cool way to learn these subjects. Now let's say
available to you 24/7, right? So you can simply practice the entire Viva at your own pace. So now we move on to the next feature that is known as slides to video. First, let me know in the chat, how are you finding the session so far? Write great in the chat if everything that you're learning so far is going to directly help you whenever you are having your next exam. So I'm finding a lot of great useful in the chat. Awesome. So now we have the next use case, that is, we can redesign any given slides, like it is a feature of Google Slides, and turn them into videos. So let's assume that I have like the same deck that we are using right now, like module 2, that is AI for guided learning. And if I open it for you right here, now what if I wanted to learn this in a visual format? So we have this button right here, that is convert to video. I will click on this and I will click on convert. Then we have this pop-up that comes up, and then I will click on next. So what truly happens at the backend is, once you upload the entire deck, there is a proper teaching based script that has been generated, right? And it is very human in general, and you can choose exactly how do you want the exact teaching to be.
The voice you select makes a difference.
You want this kind of voice?
The voice you select may
You can this kind of voice, or do you want
The voice you select.
this kind of voice? So we will just go ahead with the current voiceover, and then I will click on create the draft video. So in general, students, there are different types of learning, right? There is visual learning, there is auditory learning, there is kinesthetic learning, there is learning with simulations. So when I used to learn, there is usually a point when you're learning for a long time, and then it just becomes difficult to go through your notes and read everything out, right? So I am personally a visual learner. So I used to go and find YouTube videos on everything that is there in my syllabus, but a lot of times there was no YouTube video available. And that is exactly where this comes into picture, because you can simply take your notes and like put it on Google Slides, and then you can have something like this. Let me play it for you.
Welcome to Module 2, AI for Guided Learning and Exam Prep, focusing on structured practice and revision with AI. This is Arav, and he has his midterm exams next week. Let's see some of the problems he is facing. First, Arav is getting stuck with solve problems and move forward without experienced correction. Without practice, just reading and watching is often insufficient. Now the question is, how can AI help Arav to solve from the AI tools to start the interactive tutoring session? Arav can also upload the relevant chapter materials for a more personalized study session. The AI is prompted to teach using simple explanations, examples, and
Isn't that great, students? Because if at all I had something like that, like I would have definitely used it a lot. Because personally, I love to learn using anything that is visual. I love to learn using lectures. So this would have in general helped me a lot. Let me know in the chat if you're going to use it. Awesome. Amazing. So a lot of you are going to use this feature in general. So it is part of Google Slides. So now let me show you what our students have made from our previous cohorts. So we have had previous batches where we taught them like exactly this and something even more deeper, and they were able to create something like this, right? They created their own question papers, and then they marked themselves so that they can learn better, they can revise better, and they ended up performing better in their examinations. And a few students made it even more interactive. They used like visuals like this so that it becomes even more fun. Now a few students went like all the way ahead. They generated it using AI, and then they wrote the entire thing using their hand. And then a few students got it printed out, and then like they like completely actually performed it like an actual examination. They got it printed, and then they like proper timed themselves, and then they appeared for the actual examination, right? Now usually assignments in general or anything at all, they get sometimes boring, right? Now what if we can convert boring chapters into engaging PPTs? And let me tell you, students, like this is my personal favorite, because every time I have taught this particular thing to students, they have simply been absolutely amazed. And this is a presentation. It is a presentation by a tool known as Gamma. So you can simply upload your like boring looking PDF, and you can convert them into presentations like this within a few minutes. This is completely flexible. You can completely edit it. You can play around with this. You have complete freedom as to how you want to convert this. Now, typically, if you have to make presentations, right, if you have a assignment to do, if you have a presentation to do, typically it will take you hours, if not days, right, to think about the entire thing, to research about the entire thing, and then convert them into a presentation. Now, there is one thing to create a presentation and a second thing to make it visually beautiful. Gamma helps you doing both. Now, students in general love doing this because this is absolutely seamless. This entire thing can be done within a few seconds. Now, the exact things that I'm showing you, the PPTs that I'm showing you, these are actually generated by our students. So you can see the kind of generations they are creating. Because the entire thing is based on blood, the entire theme of the presentation is also red. So that is something very, very thoughtful. Now, students, before we move ahead, there are a few things that you must keep in mind when you're using the free plan of any given AI tool. The first is that you will never share your home address. Second, you should never type out your passwords, OTPs, or login credentials. You should never enter your phone number or email ID. And lastly, you should always avoid uploading your personal photos or videos. You need to be very, very careful when you're using AI because everything that you upload, it is being given to that company. So always have a guardian with you when you're using AI. So now, students, let me show you something that how AI in general is going to act in the future, right? And we have Project Astra by Google. So I'm going to show you how Project Astra is going to be in the future.
I'm here with the latest
I hope it's completely audible.
research prototype of Project Astra, and we're going to see how it can help me fix my bike. Hey, go online and look for a user's manual for a Huffy mountain bike.
I have found a user manual for you. What would you like to know about it?
Okay, cool. Now scroll until you find the section about the brakes.
Sure thing. Looking for that page now.
I think I stripped this screw. Can you go on YouTube and find a video for how to fix that?
Of course. I'm opening YouTube now. This looks like a good video.
Place a rubber band over the head of the screw.
Oh, nice.
Press
Hey,
down firmly.
can you go through my emails with the bike shop and find which size hex nut I need?
Sure. According to the email from Bicycle Habitat, you need a 3/8" hex nut for your sprocket. I've highlighted the correct bin for you.
It seems like I need a spare tension screw. Can you call the nearest bike shop and see what they have in stock?
Yep. Calling them now. I'll get back to you with what they have in stock.
I think my brake pads are wearing down. Can you check the manual again and see if it talks about them anywhere?
According to the manual, if you look on page 24...
Do you want to get lunch?
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Can you finish what you were saying?
As I was saying, if you look on page 24, section 2, you'll see how to replace the brake pads.
Hey, any updates on that call?
Yep, I just got off of the bike shop. They confirmed they have your tension screw in stock. Would you like me to place a pickup order?
Could you show me some examples of dog baskets I can put on my bike?
Sure, I can help you with that. Just give me a moment. Here are some options. I think Zuka would look really great in these.
Crazy. So students, this exactly shows that where we are truly leading with the entire AI change, right? And we are like absolutely going to get to a next level with AI upgrading, and AI is moving way faster than we actually expected. So you will see that in this video as well.
Can you help me out with question number 39 here?
Of course. Is this the problem?
Yes, I don't really understand what to do here.
No problem. Let's take this to the blackboard. The key concept here is optical isomerism.
Got it. But how can I tell if an isomer is optically active?
Optically active compounds require a chiral carbon atom. A chiral carbon is one that is bonded to 4 different groups.
Okay, awesome. That makes sense. So how do I apply that to solve this problem?
Let me walk you through the steps to solve this problem.
Okay, got it. Let me find the structures first.
Sure, no worries. Feel free to show me when you're done.
I found 4 carbon chain structures. Is that correct?
Close, but not quite. There are 4 structures, but you've made a small mistake in the 3rd structure. Can you check your work again?
I can't actually find the mistake. Can you show it to me?
For sure. You added an extra hydrogen bond to the 2nd carbon atom. I'm circling it now.
Oh, okay. Good catch. That's actually really helpful. Thank you. So I think this is where the chiral center is. Can you confirm?
Yes, here is the chiral center. Well done.
Remember the optically active isomer problem we were working on? Can you show me what the 2 chiral molecules actually look like?
Sure. Have a look at the molecular structure. I've created the molecular structures of the 2 optically active isomers, also known as enantiomers of 2-bromobutane.
Thanks for all your help, Asher.
Isn't that mind-blowing, students? So this is where we are leading with AI, right? And like this entire thing makes it even more important for all of us to stay in the front line of learning AI. So before we move forward, we will do a quick revision from module 2. And the first lesson that we learned was don't rely on AI for the solutions, use AI to assist with your learning. And you need to use guided learning so that you can learn anything at your own speed. So now we will invite Mr. Danesh sir to take the session ahead. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. So I am Danesh and I've been working with the Cutting Edge School for the past 1.5 years, and I'll be walking you through the next module, which is AI for infographics, diagrams and videos for better understanding and to choose smarter careers. Now the first tool that we're going to use is called Claude, which is used for interactive diagrams. Now the important feature here is that we are going to cover the interactive diagrams just by learning visually, your concepts learning visually. And the first one that we are going to create is the periodic table. Now of course there are a lot of periodic table images on the internet, but to learn it in a very interactive way you can use these kind of tools to do that. So now the interface looks really simple. That's just a prompt box just like ChatGPT. And you can directly type this prompt. So I can just go to Claude right now. I'll just copy this prompt. Let me just close all these tabs. And I'll go to Claude. And let me zoom in so that it's visible. I hope I'm visible and audible to everyone. All right. So I'll just paste this here and I'll select these models. So there are these models here. I can just go to Opus 4.6 and I'll click on enter. Now that's just a very simple prompt, a very natural language, written in a very natural language, just like a create an interactive periodic table, which will help me learn and understand each and every elements better. So what it'll do is it'll automatically figure out what all to display. and it'll create a proper periodic table for you. So I'll show you how that periodic table looks like. Let that process go in the background, happen in the background, but I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what Claude has generated for us. Now, whenever you click on these elements, it'll automatically open a pop-up and it'll show you all the elements. So as you can see, that atomic mass, the phase, boiling point, the melting point, density, each and everything is mentioned here, so that the learning becomes such interactive. It becomes like a very interactive and very enjoyable for the student to learn as well. So let me show you one more thing here that we have created. So I'll go here, and we have already created one. So I'll just click on this and I'll show you what the interactive periodic table actually looks like. So when I just hover this, it'll automatically pop up, but when I just click on it, it'll show me this proper diagram of the element. Like the atoms are also revolving around it. So as you can see, this is such a cool way to learn these subjects. Now let's say we want to select hydrogen. So when I click on hydrogen, there is a single atom going around. So for students, it becomes such an easy task to learn these complex topics. And you can also filter that out. You can directly type the element, let's say helium, and it will automatically appear here. Or let's say if you want to select just metals or non-metals, noble, halogens, or rare earths. So this was an interactive periodic table which Claude has created for us. Now we can also go deeper in that. So let's say, in fact, let's say you want to build a complex interactive diagrams, and you want an interactive diagram of a human anatomy. So you can just copy then paste this prompt. We have already created one. I'll show that to you. So this is what the actual interactive learning looks like. A proper anatomy explorer for a human body or a brain cells. And you can see that how interactive it is. You can just hover that and select whatever details you want to know about this particular diagram here. Let's say it's cardiovascular or respiratory or digestive, urinary, nervous system. Everything is there. But for that, you need to click on full body. And then when you click on nervous, you can just hover that and learn about it. So it becomes such easy for students to understand as well. Now you can also type in a prompt where you want just for the lung diagram. You can just type in that. And then that depends on the student of what that student wants to learn. So I hope everything is clear till now. You can use Claude to create these kind of interactive learning. Just type yes in the chat and I'll know. All right. So now this was a first use case. The next one is we can write like proper create a visual planner from handwritten routine as well. These are some visual tools now. So let's say that you have a daily routine written on a piece of paper and you have proper timing as well. But now you want to maintain this. You want to have a calendar for this. So what you can do is you can click this image, put it into an AI tool, write a prompt that create a visual planner for me, and it will automatically create these kind of visual planners for you. So that you can just print it out and you can just stick it on your notice board or wherever you want and just stick whatever you want. Now, of course, you can change this by giving better prompts as well. If you give good context, good prompts, you will get better outputs as well. Now, the next use case here is that you can create posters for your classrooms as well as your laboratories. Now, these are the images that whatever images you are seeing right now are generated using AI. Initially, what we used to do is we needed to have some design knowledge, some illustration knowledge, and then only we will be able to create these kind of images. But now with just a simple prompt, you can create these kind of images and stick it on your classroom or your laboratories or even your room as well. You can even put these kind of posters in your room as well. The next part is that you can create detailed infographics. Now, this is the most interesting part of this particular module. So you can create these kind of infographics. Let's say you want to understand the weather system of India. So what you can do is you can just type in a prompt that I want to understand the weather system and then use a particular AI tool. Let's say for this, I've used ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT has just launched a new model for the GPT 2.0 for their images. And I'll use that and create these kind of infographics to learn better, because whatever we see visually, it stays with us whenever. So it makes any boring topic as well very interesting. because whatever textual knowledge we have, we won't be able to grasp that easily. So it's better to create these kind of infographics so that it's easier to learn as well. Now this was also created using ChatGPT as well. But now let's say that you want to break this process down and create a proper step-by-step photosynthesis process to understand better. So you can use ChatGPT only and ask ChatGPT to create 5 slides out of it. And then it will automatically give you a step-by-step process for that. So this was created using ChatGPT with just a single prompt, and it has given me 5 slides for that. Isn't this really interesting for a student? Just type yes in the chat. All right. So a lot of people are saying yes, amazing, awesome, really helpful for students to learn. Exactly. Now this was also created using ChatGPT, but this looks very complex. So let's say for a student of 11, 12 standard, this might be understandable for them. But if a student from, let's say, 7th standard wants to understand thermodynamics of how the engine works, then you can create these kind of images. The concepts are same, but the language here is very different. It's very friendly, user-friendly. Even the graphic that we have generated is very user-friendly. There's a superhero explaining how the engine works, the piston works, the connecting rod, crankshafts, intakes, everything is there, but in a very easy language. Even the visual language has changed here. In the previous one, it was very professional, but here it has become very playful for the student to learn as well. So the learning part depends on the student here. Whatever creativity student has, they can apply it here as well. Now let's say that we have already created this infographics, but what I want to create a hand-drawn diagrams, like simple diagrams as well. So you can use these tools and just type these natural language prompts, nothing extra. Initially what we used to do is we need to write a huge prompt to create these kind of images, but now AI tools have a lot of context. So they can directly generate these kind of images by just these simple prompts. And this is the prompt, like create a simple hand-drawn sketch of a cellular structure in a notebook. And this is what we have received. Even a simpler version is there. This is a very simpler version so that students can actually draw that out. But now, once these hand-drawn illustrations are also generated, let's say you want to deep down, like dig deep, and you want to get a detailed instruction, like a detailed illustration of it. So you can actually give this image to these AI tools and say that give me a proper diagram of an animal cell. Then it will give you this type of animal cell, like a proper illustrated version with proper pointers as well. So you can see it has pointed out nucleus, nuclear membrane, even the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, the ribosomes, everything is there here. So this is such an easy way to understand. Like visually, whatever you see is really good for students to understand. Same with this one and this one. Like you can take these and make it like a proper infographic. Like this is like a precipitation and condensation cycle. So there are these terms and there are these cycles sometimes students might not understand just by seeing it on textual versions. So what you can do is you can create these kind of infographics because it becomes so easy for students to understand this. Same with the lungs. And there are some other laws as well. So you can do that for them as well. Now the next use cases are going to be a bit fun use cases. It might not be that useful for students, but just for the sake of it, like just for the fun purposes, you can use that. You can create these scrapbook style collage images as well. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can go to Gemini and you can just type create a school yearbook style portrait, transforming into a teenage students, blue studio background, and he wears a school uniform with blazer, white t-shirt and a tie. This is the prompt and this is what I've gotten. So this looks like I am like 10 years younger now. So I've just provided my image and this is what it has given. Same with this one. You can even create these Polaroids from this by just giving those images. So the imagination here becomes your important moat, right? So whatever imagination, whatever creation you have in your mind, execution has become very easy with these AI tools. So the time between execution and ideation has reduced a lot. But you can even use, like initially what was happening is your baseline used to be here, but now your baseline is only increased so that you can implement on top of it. But whatever things you are generating with these AI tools, make sure that you use it for your first draft and not your last draft. Because if you use it for your first draft, you can just build on top of it and use your human intelligence for that. Same with this, you can even create a greeting card for Merry Christmas or like Happy Diwali, or if you have a birthday, you can create cards like these as well. Now the next use case here is that you can add or remove elements from a picture. So let's say if you are on a vacation and you have taken a picture and you want to remove people from the background, you can do that using these AI tools. So this is an example that we have done. So we clicked a picture, front facing picture, and then we asked these AI tools to add cowboy hat on a person in this picture. So it added that. Now we can keep on adding and removing stuff like this. So I added a palace behind me. And then we added soldiers as well. After that, after adding soldiers, we added crown as well. Now after adding the crown, we can even have the proper uniform, the proper king's uniform as well. So we went from this simple image to this one with just these few prompts. And you can experiment that on your own as well. Same using your creativity. Like how creative can you get? Now, of course, these are the things that we have added, but you can also remove these things. So the next one is that you can create prototypes of your science topics. So initially we saw how to create periodic table, a proper interactive learning, but now you can even create these 3D models using these AI tools. It has become so easy to create these now just with simple prompts. So let's say if you are planning to become a game developer, so you can use these kind of tools to at least start and build on top of it and add these elements in your games and at least start with it, because you can make your first draft with these. You can even make these monuments as well, the buildings, and use that in your game. Now the next use case here is that you can convert images into videos. Now we have made a lot of images, the sketches, a diagram, everything we have made. But now we need to convert those into videos. So what you can do is, so this is an image that we have created. Now I wanted a video out of it. Like I want a proper storm coming behind. Now look at the video that we have generated. Isn't this insane? Like just from a picture, we have generated this video. Just type insane in the chat. All right. A lot of people are saying insane, amazing. Perfect. So you can even create these kind of images. Now there is always some sort of hallucination to this because these are already created into free tools. Yes, and this was also created using a free tool. This was not created using a paid tool. This was created using a free tool. Now someone is asking that how is this useful to students? So this depends on the topic that they're, but let's say if you want to learn the actual working of an engine, you can try that out. If it will not give you a proper working, but at least it will give you a movement to that still image. Same with this. This is not going to be useful for students, but this is just a possibilities of what AI can actually do. So you can swap faces with your favorite heroes as well. So what we did is we replaced a character of Rehman Dakir, and then we use Ansh's picture, and then we replace that. So this is what we have gotten using an AI tool. So now, before moving ahead, I would like to show you some cinematic videos that AI is generating right now, and it'll blow your mind. So I'll play the video and just let me know in the chat if the audio is audible.
हेलमेट पहन ले बेटा।
अरे माँ, हेलमेट से बाल खराब हो जाते हैं।
बाल फिर सेट हो जाएंगे, सेफ्टी पहले आती है।
बस पास ही जम्मू यूनिवर्सिटी तक जा रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं होगा।
सुन तो सही, हेलमेट।
एक सेकेंड, कभी कभी पूरी जिंदगी का फैसला होता है।
So how many of you think that this video was insane? Because this, whatever video you saw right now was created entirely using AI, and you can see the tools as well here, whatever tools that it has used. Isn't this insane? The quality is so good. Now I'll show you a few more videos. There are very cinematic videos, and that is also created entirely using AI. So let me just show you the videos. Sorry, I was on mute. So can you see the possibilities now with these AI tools? It was so difficult to distinguish between the real and the AI footage because the whole clip that you saw was AI generated, and it was very difficult for me as well to believe that this whole clip was AI generated. But it is happening. The industry is changing now. Now same with this. I hope the audio is audible to you. All right, perfect.
Damn, who's gonna take it? Bro, what is this? Gimme! Is this music? Say that word out loud, idiot.
Music detected.
Did you see the amount of details in this? The expressions, the sand, everything is so on point. It looks like a proper studio has created this. But now all these videos were created using Higgsfield. Now Higgsfield is a paid tool and it has a lot of features, and you can create these kind of videos using Higgsfield. So the reality has changed so much now. So I hope everything that I have shown you till now has been clear. All right. So now it's time to show what our students have made. So I'll show you whatever students have made in the previous cohort. And this is the assignment 1. We have given them an assignment to imagine themselves as an adult, like how they see themselves in the past, in the coming 5 to 10 years, right? So someone has created these kind of images. Now this was created by a student. He is an aspiring software engineer. He is making his own apps. Someone has created this image. Someone wants to be a footballer, so they have imagined themselves as a footballer as well. Now all these images that you are seeing here are generated using AI. Now this is such a clear image. It is showing everything so clearly that he wants to be a CEO of Google in the Sao Paulo or Silicon Valley. Someone wants to be an fashion designer. And it is so crisp and it is so clear by these images that what they want to be in future. And there was the second assignment where we had asked them to create AI videos of their favorite superheroes. And these are all submitted by students. So can you see this video? This was created by a student using a free tool. Even this one. Such amazing outputs. Now this was all for this module number 3. Now I would like to call Ansh back on the stage. So let's welcome him back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danish, and hope that everybody had a good time doing all of the crazy note taking that you would have been doing up till so far, because I'm sure you would be wondering that how can you make such things, right? Because of course these things look very fancy, they look very interesting, and this is just the beginning. You know, if you feel like images and videos are the coolest stuff, I have to show you something even more. I'm going to screen share now so that everybody can see module number 4, because now the entire topic is about using AI for soft skills and in general using AI to become a better version of yourself. So if you remember the Archimedes subject that I had explained at the beginning, I was talking about how your intelligence and your state of mind is going to be the biggest advantage. For any parent who is, you know, spending enough time with their child, can you tell me a pattern or anything that you might have seen in your child when it comes to their memory, their speaking? Because I'm sure a lot of parents would have seen their children read less, in general, speak less because everybody's stuck on their phones. And how many parents feel like this is a bad thing? I can see that yes, a lot of parents are saying yes, we agree that they're reading less, they're speaking less, they're writing less, and it's probably because of the lifestyle that all of us are seeing these days. The irony is that when it comes to skills, truly valuable skills, things and skills that were valuable 100 years ago are still valuable, and they will be valuable for the next 100 years. And this is where the importance of having core fundamental skills becomes really high. Let's take the example of Arav one more time. If Arav had to use AI to become the absolute best version of himself, what would he do? And let me tell you something, there's this tool called Claude, and within Claude they have a feature called artifacts that basically allows you to make your own mini apps. There is an artifact that can essentially help your child become a better writer by giving your child the right tools, the right guidance to improve the way they articulate their thoughts. See, before your child can speak confidently, the fundamental layer is their ability to write something clearly. And Claude Artifacts has so many other applications that it's just insane that you can not only use these applications but build your own applications as well. And I'm not going to deep dive into the depths of these things, like these are very interesting applications. But the difference that I want to talk about here is that if you want your child to be ahead of everybody else, focus on their ability to read more, to write more, and watch content which is information dense. And I always recommend students to write something first, give it to AI, and don't ask AI to rewrite it. Don't ask AI to make it better. That's the worst thing you will do, because as soon as AI tries to make it better, you will lose nuance. How many of you parents here have asked AI to improve your letters, to improve your proposals? I can already see a bunch of people are saying me in the chat. It's the worst thing ever. Because when AI improves something you write, it just removes all the nuance. It removes all the important things, and that's the worst way to use AI. So the ability to read and write in the age of AI is going to be extremely valuable. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would have thought that, oh, Ansh is probably going to say that you should learn coding, you should learn AI agents. No, I'm telling you, first principles thinking. Absolutely first principles thinking, that your ability to learn things faster, your ability to read and write clearly in the age of AI is going to be the biggest skill ever. Because if you can learn how to learn things quickly, you are always and always going to be ahead. In fact, for a lot of parents who say that, oh Ansh, I really do not know what career my child should go for, what kind of subjects my child should go for, I'm going to show you something very, very interesting. Whether it's about choosing a stream or a career option in general, AI can help you figure out what truly matters to you. It can have a proper in-depth questionnaire for you, figure out your interests, your likelihoods of being interested in something, and it can brainstorm with you like a personal counselor, which is absolutely insane. So I have a prompt here in front of me that you can just steal from me, and I have used the exact framework that we had learned, which is the ACE framework. So as I had explained to you that day, you have to describe the action, you have to set the context, you have to set the expectation, and that is what I've done here. So now read this prompt, okay? And you can just run the same prompt, you can put your own information and try it out. Act like a friendly and honest career counselor who understands students, parents, and future job trends. I am a student currently in class 10th. My main interests are physics, space, technology, and watching science videos and documentaries and tech-related content. I am good at logical thinking, understanding concepts when explained visually, etc., etc. And then one by one, I have given my confusion. So my confusion is that should I take science or commerce? And I have put my family expectations, I've given some career options, a bunch of things. And you won't believe the screenshot that you see in front of you is by Claude, but you can run the same on Gemini and ChatGPT as well. Within 30 to 40 seconds, it was able to shortlist the best colleges, the best paths, and it's just insane the kind of guidance you can get from AI. And let me know in the chat if you would love to have something like this. Now let's just say that your child is completely clueless. He or she doesn't know what your interests are. So you can ask AI to quiz you with questions to evaluate your interests and suggest your opportunities. And Claude can actually recommend you the right questions as well. So in all of our boot camps, we help students use AI to not just shortlist a bunch of solutions, not just use it as a shortcut to all of their destinations, but they can discover things that they were completely ignorant to. And that is the power of AI, the ability to discover what you do not know. There's one more very, very important thing for students, and that is their ability to learn in public, to build in public. How many of you know here what is learning in public? What is building in public? Any guesses? If you had to just guess, what does learn in public mean? What does build in public mean? Somebody is saying making projects, making videos. Well, my recommendation to all school students is to write. Write about what you're learning, whether it's on Medium, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Substack. And if your child starts writing in class 8, in class 9, I think less than class 8 is too young, it is going to help your child so much in attracting the right opportunities. And you can only write well when you're consuming better content, right? And a lot of kids, they get bored when they're consuming books, right? So as a parent, can you use AI to make learning more fun for your child? Can you use AI to make a boring book more interesting for your child? And this is where 11 Reader comes in. For anybody who's a teacher or a parent who struggles with kids, paying attention to books, 11 Reader can convert your study material into proper audio lessons. So you can go to this platform You can upload multiple books. You can choose between voiceovers and it will convert the entire book into a fun narration. It is the most coolest thing ever. And you can choose from multiple voices, and they include celebrity voices as well. In fact, the same tool, which is available all for free, it can convert an FM, a proper podcast, out of your study material. So imagine, you can make learning so much more fun. And if you don't want to download their app, they have a Google extension as well. So you can just download this as a Google Chrome extension. It's completely available for free. So as a teacher, as a parent, you now have an opportunity to bring the best out of your child, to introduce your child to all of these magical things. And how many of you would want a link to this? In fact, we have so many more apps that we teach regularly. My team is going to share a link in the chat so that you can see the entire catalog. But once you have read something, once you've understood something, the most valuable skill is your ability to take your thoughts and to communicate them, to be confident about what you're saying. And in the age of AI, just using software, just using the computer, it's not going to be enough, because AI is far better than us when it comes to speed. So you need to know how to take something from AI and present it in front of people. Be more confident, be a great communicator. And unfortunately, very few students train themselves for this, because it requires a lot of practice, right? Like AI can't just use a magic wand and throw it at you. But if you use ChatGPT, if you have like a ChatGPT bot, you can actually create your own AI public speaking coach. You can actually ask that entire coach. I'm going to show you something very interesting. If you go to your ChatGPT and click on more, first of all, they have included an apps section. These are applications that you can use inside of ChatGPT to book something, to design something, to make a website. But then they also have an Explore GPT section, and very few people know about this. And I think my homework to you would be to check this out. And for all the parents and all the students, just click on Explore GPTs and select the education one. You're going to be blown away by the kind of GPT bots they have. And if you just click on it, you can just have a conversation. These are ready-made GPT bots. And the fun part is that you can build your own AI communication coach. You can share your scripts. You can actually talk to this coach, and this coach will give you a score on how well you were in communicating. In fact, I'll give you an exercise right now that you can perform on a daily basis. And this is a proper step-by-step roadmap, right? Because learning AI is easy, right? Like you can use any of these AI tools, and learning AI in general is super easy from a YouTube channel. What you can do with me and our guidance here is figure out the correct application. How do you apply this knowledge? Where will you go wrong? And these are some of the techniques that I want to show you. So by the way, there's a free website called Transcribe, TurboScribe. Basically, it transcribes your video into text. And you can ask AI to give you a proper feedback on the transcription of what you say, right? So in module 4, we discussed that the ability to read and write clearly is going to be extremely valuable. With AI, you can discover careers beyond what you know, and you might end up making a decision that will completely change the course of your life. And combining audio and reading in general is going to help you open up your mind to the next level. Now I'm going to show you something very cool, right? And this is where the session becomes more interesting. How many of you kids here want to build your own games? Without any coding, without any complicated setup, how many of you want to build your own games? Because in module 5, I'm going to touch upon AI for building apps, AI for building games. An average student in general is currently spending minimum 3 to around 5 hours daily on their phones, which is reducing their brain activity, it's reducing their focus. And all of this screen time is not spent creating something cool. They're not becoming builders, they're becoming consumers. And all of them know how to use an app. but very few of them are asking themselves if I can build an app. And what if your child gets that technology? Your child gets that confidence to build something. There's no price that you can put on that, because earlier, before AI, building a game, building a website, building an app would take months or weeks or at least days. But now, let me show you some absolutely incredible use cases. You can build a proper Minecraft themed snake game. You can go to Google AI Studio, you can put a simple prompt, and you can create this entire game from scratch. So I'm going to open up this game for you. This entire game is AI generated. Everything that you see. So let me check if we've been able to open this. Oh, so I think the URL has expired. That's why I'm not able to access this. But I'm going to ask my team to put the updated URL in the chat. I'll show you one variation. This is an app. This is not a website, but basically if you use this vibe coded app, which this person has created with AI, you can scroll through your photos in 3D space. If I close my fist, I zoom out. If I open up my fist, I zoom in. I close it, zoom out, open my fist, and now I can just move. Right? It's insane. How many of you would want to make something like this? If you had to upload your own pictures, because you can upload it from here, right? And my team can share the link in the chat so that you can try it out your own. I'm going to show you the Angry Bird game as well, that some of our students before have created this. And I know that a lot of people are saying, how long is the webinar for? It's just 30-40 minutes more, because I want to do the Q&A as well, and you can put your questions. So we will be having my support team answer all of your queries in real time, by the way. We also have a counselor here, so we'll be sharing the details about that counselor. But yeah, all of the games that you see in front of you, these are all games that your child can also create. Right? So this entire interface, I'm going to put this right here. Let's put some names and start learning, and check this out. It's a proper 3D Monopoly game. It's insane if you think about it, right? And you can roll the dice, and it has sound effects, and it's just super cool, right? And it is so important for your child to know these things together, right? And because we don't have much time, I'm not going to get into the technical depths of it, but these small exercises are to help your child understand how building is done, right? I will not say that your child is going to open $1 billion startup out of this, but if a child ends up getting this confidence in school days, imagine what he or she will do once she enters college, right? So whether it's making a website, whether it's building an app, the tools will keep on evolving. But having the right mindset, having that conviction in yourself from an early stage, that is super important, right? And you can build your own portfolio websites as well. In fact, I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. All of the visuals that you see in front of you, all of the games that you see in front of you, it has been created by school students from our previous boot camps, right? So I think we don't have to revise much, but I want to tell you folks something very important. It is going to be extremely difficult for your child to get clarity alone. Everybody knows that AI is going to change everybody's life, but they don't really know how it works, what tools to use, and how to apply it. In this entire session, I was able to take you from less knowledge to a little knowledge. But there's a limit to what you can do in 3 hours, right? And we'll have a Q&A. And right now, I will be telling you about how those kids that you saw earlier, how were they able to work with us, learn with us, and they are going to be learning with me and all the instructors you saw so far for the next 1 year. Because going from 1 to 100 is a very different game, and your child will need a lot of hand holding. Your child will need that personal support. Otherwise, it's very difficult, because on that journey from 1 to 100, almost every student hits the same 6 walls. And I'll tell you the obstacles that your child will face. First of all, you will not know what to do next, because when you go to YouTube, when you go to the internet, everything is so scattered, everything is so confusing, everything is so chaotic that you'll just waste so much of time just finding the right path. The second issue is that AI is changing every week. So how do you keep yourself updated? Because even if you get another YouTube video or another pre-recorded course, if you learn something in the month of January, by the time June comes in, that knowledge is outdated. And if you're trying to learn something and if you get stuck, how do you get support? You need a mentor. You need a tutor. You need some level of live support and not just like a bunch of videos. Fourth, nobody is keeping you accountable. Nobody is keeping your child accountable, right? Self-paced learning in general, that has no incentive, that has no competition. In general, it has like 3 to 4% completion rate. Your skills in general will remain unrecognized, because if you or your child is watching a bunch of YouTube videos, who is giving you that badge of honor or that credit or that recognition? And if nobody is telling you which AI tool to invest in, you might end up wasting 1,000 to 2,000 rupees per month on tools that are not even worth it, because free tools can also help you so much. So the question that every parent, every teacher needs to ask themselves is that 5 years from now, will your child be competing with just the classmates or with AI powered students globally? And I think you all know the answer. If AI is changing so quickly, if the syllabus is changing so quickly, if the expectation of the world from your child is changing so quickly, who is preparing your child for the future? How is the child going to prepare? If two students are competing for the same opportunity, one uses AI to think faster, one uses AI to solve problems faster, who do you think will get that opportunity? Who do you think is going to become eligible for that one opportunity? And the answer is super simple, right? So to help your students be updated, just like this small session, right? If you want to enroll in the most practical, accountable, the most recognized and the most affordable curriculum, we have now launched a year-long admission where if you pay once for one bootcamp, you get access to all of the bootcamp material for the next 1 year. And each bootcamp has 4 distinct phases. Now, anytime your child enrolls, there is a morning batch and there is an evening batch. And the crazy part is that your child can attend both of them. So if your child is traveling, they will have access to the recordings for a lifetime. And I want to take you through the entire syllabus, right? Before we jump onto the Q&A, I want to take you through the entire syllabus. On day number 1 of the bootcamp, we'll explain your child how AI thinks, how your child can use AI to convert difficult study material into easy to understand flashcards and quizzes and graphs and even comic books, helping your child get over the fear, get over that inertia that is holding your child back from using AI. In fact, I would recommend all the parents to attend the bootcamp as well, because AI is new for everyone, right? The child and the parent both are at zero experience. On day number 2, we will help your child understand how AI can help them learn better, study better, in fact, how they can create their own virtual tutors, their own assistants that will help them understand interesting things, that will help them create storybooks out of their syllabus. And all of these tools combined together will help your child learn faster than ever. In week number 2, we will help your child understand how to improve their communication skills, how to make gorgeous looking presentations, the art of telling a good story, how you take a concept and put it together into a beautiful deck. And parents who work in corporates, you already know how valuable these skills are. Imagine if your child starts focusing on these skills in school days itself. People teach this in college, but in our boot camp, we're helping students learn this from a very early age, because the competition is just going to go really high. So why not prepare your child beforehand? On week 2, day 2, we will teach your child how to create amazing images and videos using AI. All the pictures that you see in front of you, all of this amazing stuff, it is such a motivating, creative force that your child can have. You know, Danish has put himself in his favorite TV shows, right? So how many of you students here would love to be in a picture with the cast of your favorite movie, of your favorite TV show? In fact, Hollywood level visual effects are now possible with AI, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make these things. Dhurandhar 2 had a music video where they used this exact tool, the same AI tools that Dhurandhar 2 has used. We're going to help you learn those tools as well. On week 3, day 1, we'll teach you how to make your own AI avatar. You heard me right. All of these 3 Anshas are not real. They are all my AI avatar. And if you want to create your own AI avatar, there is a limited time discount. There is a big discount. There are very few seats. If you want to reserve your seat, my team has just shared a discount code. A discount code is shared in the chat. There are less than 30-40 seats available, and we have hundreds of people here trying to grab their spot. This is by far the most exciting, the most practical bootcamp, where you will not just make interesting images or videos, you will actually learn how to make music. Let me play this in front of you. We'll be teaching you what kind of AI tools, what kind of prompting techniques can you use to make such music as well, with your own written poetry.
शाम के साए छुप गए दिल के कोने रोशनी में एक ख्वाब था जो टूट गया.
On week 3, day 2, we'll show you how to create websites and games without any coding. Right? The fact that your child can take a business idea, an app idea, maybe your child can help you make your next website. Maybe you and your child can together build your next business, right? And it's just a bunch of empowering tools, right? Do not let your child miss out on this bull run. And because the entire bootcamp is at the most affordable cost ever, because you get lifetime access, you get mentorship, you get opportunities to build your own AI agents, build your own Jarvis, become like Tony Stark from Iron Man, create your own mini apps, learn the best tools, and in the end get a proper career roadmap. And if you think that I am just exaggerating out of it, I want you to meet the students who have seen a significant change in their life. Sanvi from grade 12 from the Hyderabad Public School said that this camp turned her curiosity into real creations. She was able to make games and music and projects that she is still showing off. Reyansh from grade number 6 said that this entire bootcamp allowed him to explore multiple tools that made learning and designing and creation way more fun. Madhvi from grade number 9 said that she had so much of fun. And all of these kids together, they had so much to build, so much to create, that they were far ahead of their peers after the bootcamp ended. And the best part is that we will give assignments to your child after every session. And during this entire AI bootcamp, you'll have monthly live doubt sessions as well. Your child is going to get a certification from the Times of India. By the way, folks, the slots are filling out super quickly. 24 people have already reserved, and just type yes in the chat if you've blocked your seat, because you and I are going to be meeting super soon. And for any other parent who's still thinking, I'm about to tell you why this specific bootcamp is far more beneficial for your child's profile and exposure as compared to other alternatives. Because apart from everything that I showed you in terms of learning, and apart from all the certification that your child will get from the Times of India, in every bootcamp, we keep competitions, we keep projects where your child will get an opportunity to win a free MacBook Air. Kids, how many of you would want an opportunity to learn AI, to build games, to build websites, and if you do very well, you get an opportunity to win a MacBook Air? There is no other bootcamp that will give you such level of opportunities. And folks, already 28 people have purchased. So I think we just have, 16 odd seats right now. And you can unlock the full AI bootcamp for all the students. The original cost of this is 15,000 rupees, but now it is at 10,000 rupees plus GST. You can scan the QR code, and there's a bunch of powerful AI tools that I'm going to teach you. If you go to the website that I have shared in the chat, 92% of all the kids that we've taught so far, and we've taught hundreds of kids across the world, we have received a 92% valuable rating, a 4.6 average rating, more than 2,000 websites, videos, games, and images have been submitted by students. And if you book your seat right now, if you are one of the last 12 or 13 people who reserve this seat, you will not only get this entire access for a lifetime, you will not only get opportunity to win a MacBook Air, you will not only get an opportunity to get access to all the bootcamp material for the next 1 year, you will directly save 5,000 rupees right now. So folks, I can already see that a bunch of parents have registered their seats, and I know that you have some questions in your mind. And what we can do is, we're going to take some questions. So I'm going to share a Q&A form in the chat, and I'm going to open up some important queries and some exclusive advantages that we're giving for anybody who enrolls right now. These advantages didn't exist earlier. If you enroll right now, your child will not only get the bootcamp, but your child will also get a monthly AI update series. Every month, we will give you a refresher session free of cost on the latest AI trends. You get 1 year live bootcamp access. You get an AI mentor hotline where you can get full support on email from mentors. In fact, we're also sharing a brochure in the chat itself so that you can go through the entire summer camp details. So this entire brochure is going to be shared in the chat. All details about the timings, about the apps that we will cover, what is the level, what you can expect from each and every day, the entire information, the list of tools, all of that information is in the chat. And this is your opportunity to take your child's career to the next level. Now, we're going to share a form in the chat so that you can put your questions. But till then, I want you to see some videos of some kids, who have completed the previous batches. I want you to hear from them on what a big change it has brought. And by the way, folks, we just have 8 seats left on the 5,000 rupee discount. This is the best cost that you will ever get. 8 to 9 seats are left approximately. I would recommend you to log them, because once I play this video, the seats are going to get sold out way faster.
I've just spent my winter break at the Times of India AI Winter Camp.
I'm really glad to Times of
And let me just check if I am sharing the audio as well. So let me just go ahead and try one more time. All right, let's play it again.
I've just spent my winter break at the Times of India AI Winter Camp.
I'm really glad to Times of India for conducting such an amazing workshop.
You know, I had this very silly misconception in the start that AI must be all about coding and technical skills.
This camp has taught me that AI is not just a tool, it's a collaborator for learning, creating, and thinking.
During the AI Winter Camp, I explored many AI tools like Lovable for building websites and games.
I use Google Gemini and ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas.
My favorite project was making a website with Lovable. Oh my god.
The thing I enjoyed the most in this AI program was the introduction of Gemini and the Notebook LM.
जो असाइनमेंट्स हमें दिए जाते थे वो ओपन एंड होते थे, उसमें आप अपने आइडियाज़, अपनी क्रिएटिविटी फ्रीली एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हो.
What I enjoyed the most was the creative part, making posters and quizzes. It didn't feel like studying at all. It felt like experimenting and learning new things without any pressure.
But when I told Gemini AI, to make a short memory hack for me, it created such a beautiful and a simple poster to help me memorize.
I made this poster. It was not like I'm sitting in a boring classroom just making notes. It was like I'm in a lab. I was experimenting and I was creating something for myself.
And answers sessions were interactive. They were not at all boring.
This winter camp has truly inspired me.
I would also like to thank the Times of India and Answer who made this AI journey very wonderful, very easy for me.
In just a few days, I didn't just learn about AI. I started creating with it. My AI journey was awesome, and I thank Answer who has taught us about AI. It has inspired me to learn more and dream bigger. The perspective that Answer gave me and my mates will always keep us ahead of everyone who didn't attend this AI camp.
This will help me in my academics and planning my future.
I joined the AI Winter Camp knowing almost nothing, but in just a few sessions, I was creating games, websites, posters, images, songs, etc.
This is just the beginning of my AI journey.
Thank you, Times of India, for this opportunity.
Lastly, I want to thank Times of India again for this amazing opportunity. I am so excited to keep using these tools and see what I can build next.
Awesome. And I can see that a lot of parents are here. In fact, a lot of students who were in the previous bootcamp was also joined here. So welcome, folks, and I hope that you're having a fun time. And folks, I want to pick some important questions. I'm going to just put my iPad here so that we can write down all the answers for each and every person who is joining. We won't take too much time, okay? I swear we won't take too much time because I know that a lot of you have to go. It's been a long day for each and every one of you. The first one is, will we get all the sessions for a lifetime? Yes, correct. You will get access to all of the sessions for a lifetime. Yes. You get lifetime access. Second question is, do we need to buy all the apps? No, we will make sure that all the exercises are happening on free AI apps. Even to win the MacBook Air, all the projects are only going to be using the free AI apps. All right, let's go through the next question. What about privacy? So we will only teach the safe and the privacy tools. We'll actually take you through all the important settings that you need to enable to have utmost privacy. So that's going to be there. Will we learn how to make apps? Yes, apps will be taught, websites will be taught, games will be taught, music will be taught, art is also going to be taught as well. Let's see. For when is the discount valid? I would recommend you to get the discount right now, because the more you delay, the seats are super limited, right? So we're only giving this 5,000 rupee discount to people who register in that specific time frame. So I would not recommend you to wait for a longer period of time. I think if you have time and if you really want to take your learnings to the next level, this is the opportunity for you. How many live classes are included in the program? See, in every bootcamp, so let's just say you have bootcamp number 1, you have 8 sessions. you have like these 8 sessions unique and multiplied by 2, right? So you have 4 weekends and 2 sessions on each weekend. So you have 16 live sessions in general. Then you have one every session per month, which is like your doubt clearing session, right? So, and you have at least 3 boot camps, right? So you have 16 multiplied by 3, which is 48 sessions, and then you have like at least 12 more doubt sessions, right? So I think you almost have more than 50 plus live sessions across the entire month. Yes, the doubt clearing sessions are conducted live. What is the annual fee for the long-term product, the program? Folks, it is 15,000 rupees, but if you register right now, you're only gonna get it at 10,000 rupees plus GST. If you book your seat right now, you will get that. Will the certificates be issued by Times of India? Yes, correct. What type of a laptop are you giving away? We're giving away a MacBook Air. How does Claude compare to Gemini in terms of performance? See, all of these models keep on changing, right? I'm not going to give you like a correct answer. Some days Codex is winning, some days your Claude Cowork is running. So at that point of the bootcamp, we will be helping you get the best answer, the most valuable answer. How will this program benefit the students? So folks, the point here is that there are 5 major issues that students face, right? So one is how to learn something better, how to remember something better, how to practice something better, how to revise something better, how to present something better. And we will show you the best AI tools on how you can use your AI and RI together, how you can use your artificial intelligence and real intelligence together. That is the entire art. That is how we will help you. Can you please explain the morning and the evening batch one more time? So, okay. So the point here is that every session will have a morning class from 10 to 1 Indian Standard Time. And then you have an evening batch of 11 to 1. And all of the details are going to be shared to you, right? So that's never a problem. And you can attend both. And if you miss something, you have all the recordings available to you for a lifetime. How will the kids from class 5 to 12 learn together? So the curriculum has been made in a way where the use cases start from something very, very basic and we eventually take it to a higher level. And don't worry, in general, our rating from the entire batch, in the same class where I've had a class 5 student and a class 12 students together, they've always had a very, very good experience. Our average rating only is 9.6 to 9.5. If all of this is available on YouTube, what is the difference here? That's a very good question, right? So let's compare. Let's say you do everything from YouTube and let's say you do something from the TOI. Here, it's just a bunch of videos that are not updated. But here in TOI, you get 12-month live sessions. Here, there is no mentor. You can't ask any mentor anything. Here, you have a mentor hotline. You can email us at any point. On YouTube videos, there is no certification. Here, there is a Times of India certification that you can get. Here, there is no online presence. But here, your work, your name, your photo is going to be there on the official Times of India website, and my team is going to share a showcase website as well. Your child is going to be featured on the Times of India website. Then there are no prizes. But here you have a chance to win a MacBook Air. And folks, my team has just updated me. They have added last 10 more seats as well. Last 10 more seats. Just 10 seats are left at the 5,000 rupee discount. If you want to get it right now, we're not going to waste too much of your time. In fact, I'm going to let the QR code stay here because I know that you will have to sort of take the decision. So what we can do is we can let the QR code stay here. And I'm just going to share my screen And I'm super excited for all the parents who are typing registered in the chat. Thank you so much for putting your trust in us. I'm telling you, your child is going to learn so much and grow so much. You're going to see a different version of your child come all together. So I'm going to screen share right now. And for those of you who want the discount, make sure that you do not miss this opportunity. If you have any doubts, we're going to share our customer support number, our counselor's email address, our counselor details in the chat. Feel free to reach out to us at any point. And for those of you who have registered, I can't wait to see you at the live bootcamp.